Lesson 41. Wife, wives, help. What's the plural of wife?
The plural of wife is wives.
Do husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house?
Yes, husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house.
If you can't answer a question during the lesson, who helps you to answer it?
If I can't answer a question during the lesson, the teacher helps me to answer it.
If you help me, do you think we can lift this table together?
Yes, if I help you, I think we can lift this table together.
Common. Which is the most common drink in this country besides water?
Tea is the most common drink in this country besides water.
Fire. Do you have a fire at home in winter?
Yes, I have a fire at home in winter.
Broad. Which is the broadest street in your town?
Oxford Street is the broadest street in my town.
Rich. Who is the richest person you know?
My uncle is the richest person I know.
Poor. Name me one of the poorest countries in the world.
Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world.
Story. Bedtime. Do you like reading war stories?
Yes, I like reading war stories.
Do parents in your country read bedtime stories to their children?
Yes, parents in my country read bedtime stories to their children.
Express. Thought. Can you express a very simple idea quite well in English?
Yes, I can express a very simple idea quite well in English.
Do you think it's easier to express your thoughts in writing or in speaking?
I think it's easier to express my thoughts in writing.
Irregular verbs. So, change. What's the past of speak?
The past of speak is spoke.
Speak, spoke. Come, came. Break, broke. Wear, wore. Write, wrote. Get up, got up. Stand, stood. Shine, shone. Take, took. Tell, told. Drive, drove. Forget, forgot. See, saw. Sit, sat. Eat, ate. Give, gave. Begin, began. Drink, drank. Sleep, slept. Which language did we speak during the last lesson?
We spoke English during the last lesson.
What's the past of come?
The past of come is came.
What time did you come here last lesson?
I came here at 10 o'clock last lesson.
What's the past of break?
The past of break is broke.
Did you ever break an arm or a leg when you were a little child?
No, I never broke an arm or a leg when I was a little child.
What did you wear yesterday?
I wore a grey shirt and blue trousers yesterday.
Did I write anything on this piece of paper last lesson?
Yes, you wrote something on that piece of paper last lesson.
What time did you get up this morning?
I got up at 8 o'clock this morning.
Did we stand up after the last lesson?
Yes, we stood up after the last lesson.
Did the sun shine last week?
Yes, the sun shone last week.
Did you take any photographs on your last holiday?
Yes, I took some photographs on my last holiday.
Did you tell me your name?
Yes, I told you my name.
Did anybody in your family drive a car last year?
Yes, somebody in my family drove a car last year.
Did you remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that?
No, I didn't remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that. Some I remembered and some I forgot.
What did you see in this classroom last lesson?
I saw some books, some chairs, a teacher, etc. in this classroom last lesson.
Where did you sit during the last lesson?
I sat here during the last lesson.
What did you eat for your lunch yesterday?
I ate some fish and some vegetables for my lunch yesterday.
Did I give you a dictation last month?
Yes, you gave us a dictation last month.
When did last season begin?
Last season began on the 21st of March.
What did you drink with your breakfast this morning?
I drank some tea with my breakfast this morning.
How long did you sleep last night?
I slept 8 hours last night.
Lesson 42. Hill. Around. Are there any hills around this town?
Yes, there are some hills around this town.
Laugh. Comedy. Do people generally laugh when they're happy or unhappy?
People generally laugh when they're happy.
Do you laugh when you watch comedies?
Yes, I laugh when I watch comedies.
Enemy. What's the opposite of the word friend?
The opposite of the word friend is enemy.
Were England and America enemies during the Second World War?
No, England and America weren't enemies during the Second World War. They were friends.
Castle. Are there any old castles in this town?
Yes, there are some old castles in this town.
Hungry. Noise. Are you hungry at the moment?
Yes, I'm hungry at the moment.
Are there a lot of hungry people in some parts of the world today?
Yes, there are a lot of hungry people in some parts of the world today.
Does your stomach make noises when you're hungry?
Yes, my stomach makes noises when I'm hungry.
Fact. Historical. Mathematical. Geographical. Tell me a geographical fact.
Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world.
Tell me a historical fact.
The Second World War began in 1939.
Tell me a mathematical fact.
2 plus 2 equals 4.
Get. Become. When you get hungry, what do you do?
When I get hungry, I eat.
Do you think your English is getting better?
Yes, I think my English is getting better.
Obtain. Fetch. Doctor. About how much does a doctor get a month?
A doctor gets about £2,000 a month.
Do you get any cards from your friends on your birthday?
Yes, I get some cards from my friends on my birthday.
Can I get clothes from a bookshop?
No, you can't get clothes from a bookshop.
Which animal do we get milk from?
We get milk from a cow.
Will you go and get a pen for me from the next room, please?
Yes, I'll go and get a pen for you from the next room.
When children are young, do their parents get them from school each day?
Yes, when children are young, their parents get them from school each day.
Will you get that book from the table and give it to me, please?
Yes, I'll get that book from the table and give it to you.
Get to. Reach. What time do you generally get to school for your lesson?
I generally get to school at 9 a.m. for my lesson.
What time do you generally get home at the end of the day?
I generally get home at about 6 p.m. at the end of the day.
What are the general meanings of the verb get?
The general meanings of the verb get are become and obtain.
If you are not sure when to use get, what is it better to do?
If I'm not sure when to use get, it's better to use the other verb with the same meaning.
There was. There were. Is there a picture on that wall?
Yes, there's a picture on that wall.
Was there a picture on that wall 3 lessons ago?
Yes, there was a picture on that wall 3 lessons ago.
Were there any books on the table last lesson?
Yes, there were some books on the table last lesson.
Was there a chair in that corner during the last lesson?
No, there wasn't a chair in that corner during the last lesson.
Were there any chairs on the table last lesson?
No, there weren't any chairs on the table last lesson.
Die. President. What's the opposite of the verb to live?
The opposite of the verb to live is to die.
Do most people die before they're 100 years old?
Yes, most people die before they're 100 years old.
When did President Kennedy die?
President Kennedy died in 1963.
Lesson 43. Strong. Weak. Physical. Is whiskey a weak drink?
No, whiskey isn't a weak drink, it's a strong drink.
Are young boys generally physically stronger than men?
No, young boys aren't generally physically stronger than men. They're generally physically weaker than men.
Do you speak English with a strong French accent?
No, I don't speak English with a strong French accent. I speak it with a strong Japanese accent.
Soldier. Army. Make money. Uniform. Does a soldier make a lot of money these days?
No, a soldier doesn't make a lot of money these days.
Which country do you think has the largest army in the world today?
I think China has the largest army in the world today.
What do we call the clothes that a soldier wears?
We call the clothes that a soldier wears a uniform.
Do most children wear uniforms at school in your country?
Yes, most children wear uniforms at school in my country.
Build. Is it cheap to build a large house in the country?
No, it isn't cheap to build a large house in the country. It's expensive.
Fill. Do you fill your stomach completely when you eat?
Yes, I fill my stomach completely when I eat.
Contain. About how many pages does this book contain?
This book contains about 250 pages.
Art. Artist. Are you very good at art?
No, I'm not very good at art.
Was Picasso a writer or an artist?
Picasso was an artist.
Feel. Too much. Do you always feel in good health?
Yes, I always feel in good health.
Do you feel bad if you eat too much?
Yes, I feel bad if I eat too much.
Do you feel sad in good weather?
No, I don't feel sad in good weather. I feel happy in good weather.
Middle. Centre. What part of the square's this?
It's the top of the square. It's the bottom of the square. It's the side of the square. It's the middle of the square.
Where's the letter E?
The letter E's in the top right-hand corner of the square.
Where's the letter I?
The letter I's in the bottom left-hand corner of the square.
Where's the letter U?
The letter U's in the middle of the square.
Do people drive their cars in the middle of the road?
No, People don't drive their cars in the middle of the road. In most countries, they drive them on the right-hand side of the road.
What's another word for middle?
Another word for middle is centre.
Is there anything in the centre of this room?
Yes, there's something in the centre of this room.
Sure. What's your name?
My name's Keiko.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
How many ears have you?
I've 2 ears.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Request. Do we generally say please in English at the beginning of a request?
No, we don't generally say please in English at the beginning of a request. We say it at the end of a request.
Is it polite not to say please when we make a request?
No, it isn't polite not to say please when we make a request. It's impolite.
Neither nor. Is this a desk or a chair?
No, it's neither a desk nor a chair. It's a door.
Are there 100 chairs in this room or 1,000 chairs?
No, there are neither 100 chairs in this room nor 1,000 chairs. There are 14 chairs in this room.
Are you Mr. Brown or Mr. Smith?
No, I'm neither Mr. Brown nor Mr. Smith. I'm Mrs. Watanabe.
Willing. Are you always willing to help other people?
Yes, I'm always willing to help other people.
Are you willing to give me all the money you have in your pocket at the moment?
No, I'm not willing to give you all the money I have in my pocket at the moment.
Lesson 44. Irregular verbs. Continued. Film. Pronunciation. Leave. Left. Read. Read. Smell. Smelt. Meet. Met. Learn. Learnt. Feel. Felt. Send. Sent. Hear. Heard. Know. Knew. Hold. Held. Hang. Hung. Bring. Brought. Buy. Bought. Go. Went. Shake. Shook. Say. Said. Think. Thought. Teach. Taught. What's the past of leave?
The past of leave is left.
What time did you leave home to come here today?
I left home at 8 o'clock to come here today.
What's the past of smell?
The past of smell is smelt.
Did your lunch smell bad yesterday?
No, my lunch didn't smell bad yesterday. It smelt good.
Did you learn any new words last week?
Yes, I learnt some new words last week.
Did you send any emails to your friends last month?
Yes, I sent some emails to my friends last month.
Did you know me 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I knew you 2 weeks ago.
Did that picture hang on the wall last lesson?
Yes, that picture hung on the wall last lesson.
Did we read these books last week?
Yes, we read these books last week.
Who was the last person you met before coming to the school?
Mr. Brown was the last person I met before coming to the school.
Did you feel cold last summer?
No, I didn't feel cold last summer. I felt hot.
Did you hear me say good morning to you at the beginning of the lesson?
Yes, I heard you say good morning to us at the beginning of the lesson.
What did I hold in my hand last lesson?
You held your pen in your hand last lesson.
What did you bring with you to the lesson today?
I brought my books with me to the lesson today.
Where did you buy your clothes from?
I bought my clothes from a clothes shop.
Did you go to the pub last month?
Yes, I went to the pub last month.
Who was the last person you shook hands with?
Paolo was the last person I shook hands with.
What did I say to you at the end of the last lesson?
You said goodbye to us at the end of the last lesson.
Did you think the last film you saw was a good one?
Yes, I thought the last film I saw was a good one.
Did you think English pronunciation was difficult when you first began studying English?
Yes, I thought English pronunciation was difficult when I first began studying English.
Did your parents teach you to wash and dress when you were a child?
Yes, my parents taught me to wash and dress when I was a child.
Bicycle. Motorbike. Bike. Which is quicker, a bicycle or a motorbike?
A motorbike is quicker than a bicycle.
What's a bike?
A bike is either a bicycle or a motorbike.
Mistake. Did you make any mistakes in your last dictation?
Yes, I made some mistakes in my last dictation.
Do you ever mistake the word walk for work when you hear it?
Yes, I sometimes mistake the word walk for work when I hear it.
Listen. Hear. News. Radio. Radio station. All the time. What am I doing?
You're listening to something.
I am listening, but can I hear anything?
Yes, you can hear something.
What can I hear?
You can hear the cars in the street, etc.
Did you hear the news on the radio yesterday?
Yes, I heard the news on the radio yesterday.
How often do they give the news on the radio each day?
They give the news about 24 times on the radio each day.
Do you listen to the same radio station all the time?
No, I don't listen to the same radio station all the time.
Ill. Well. A cold. Medicine. Do you ever feel ill?
Yes, I sometimes feel ill.
Do you take medicine when you feel ill?
Yes, I take medicine when I feel ill.
When was the last time you felt ill?
The last time I felt ill was 2 months ago.
What's the opposite of ill?
The opposite of ill is well.
Do people feel well when they have a cold?
No, people don't feel well when they have a cold. They feel ill.
Favorite. Thirsty. Program. Are you thirsty at the moment?
Yes, I'm thirsty at the moment.
What's your favorite drink apart from water when you feel very thirsty?
My favorite drink apart from water when I feel very thirsty is orange juice.
What's your favorite television program?
My favorite television program is Neighbours.
Sell. Supermarket. What's the opposite of the verb to buy?
The opposite of the verb to buy is to sell.
In what kind of shops do they generally sell umbrellas?
They generally sell umbrellas in clothes shops.
Do they sell food in clothes shops?
No, they don't sell food in clothes shops. They sell it in supermarkets.
Is there a supermarket in the centre of this town?
Yes, there's a supermarket in the centre of this town.
Lesson 45. Lots of. Away. Tell. What can we say instead of a lot of?
We can say lots of instead of a lot of.
If you have lots of work to do and a friend talks to you all the time, what do you tell him to do?
If I have lots of work to do and a friend talks to me all the time, I tell him to go away.
Did you go away for your holidays last summer?
Yes, I went away for my holidays last summer.
Where did you go? Did you like it?
I went to Spain. Yes, I liked it.
Do you ever give any money away?
Yes, I sometimes give some money away.
Do you take this book away with you after the lesson?
No, I don't take that book away with me after the lesson.
Why not?
Because it isn't mine.
Business. Foreign. Does this country do business with foreign countries?
Yes, this country does business with foreign countries.
Rainy. Sunny. Cloudy. Is Greece a rainy country?
No, Greece isn't a rainy country, it's a sunny country.
Is it a sunny day today?
No, it isn't a sunny day today.
Was it a cloudy day yesterday?
Yes, it was a cloudy day yesterday.
Do you think it will be a rainy day tomorrow?
Yes, I think it'll be a rainy day tomorrow.
Nature. Do you think nature is always beautiful?
Yes, I think nature is always beautiful.
Price. What is the price of a meal in a very cheap restaurant in the place where you live?
The price of a meal in a very cheap restaurant in the place where I live is about £15.
Bush. Is a bush higher than a tree?
No, a bush isn't higher than a tree, it's lower than a tree.
Worth. To be worth. Value. What does it mean if I say this book is worth £5?
If you say that book is worth £5, it means that you can sell it for £5 or that it has a value of £5.
How much did your watch cost?
My watch cost £50.
When did you buy it?
I bought it 1 month ago.
About how much do you think it's worth now?
I think it's worth about £40 now.
Are your shoes worth as much now as they were when you bought them?
No, my shoes aren't worth as much now as they were when I bought them. They're worth less now than they were when I bought them.
How much do you think this is worth?
I think that's worth about £10.
Worth plus ing, gerund. Do you think it's worth paying lots of money for clothes?
No, I don't think it's worth paying lots of money for clothes.
Do you think it's worth studying the language of another country?
Yes, I think it's worth studying the language of another country.
Do you think it's worth buying an umbrella if you live in a country where it only rains about once a month?
No, I don't think it's worth buying an umbrella if I live in a country where it only rains about once a month.
Do you think it's worth taking an umbrella with you on a rainy day?
Yes, I think it's worth taking an umbrella with me on a rainy day.
Hard. Soft. What are the 3 meanings of the word hard?
The 3 meanings of the word hard are difficult, very much, and the opposite of soft.
Is Chinese an easy language to learn?
No, Chinese isn't an easy language to learn. It's a hard language to learn.
Is English grammar hard?
No, English grammar isn't hard. It's easy.
Do you work very hard?
Yes, I work very hard.
Do you think you generally work harder than your parents?
Yes, I think I generally work harder than my parents.
Is my hand hard?
No, your hand isn't hard, it's soft.
Is the floor soft?
No, the floor isn't soft, it's hard.
Lesson 46. Future tense. Will plus infinitive without to. I will eat. I'll eat. You will eat. You'll eat. He will eat. He'll eat. She will eat. She'll eat. It will eat. It'll eat. We will eat. We'll eat. You will eat. You'll eat. They will eat. They'll eat. What's the future of I go?
The future of I go is I will go.
What's the future of you go?
The future of you go is you will go.
What's the complete future of the verb to go?
The complete future of the verb to go is I will go, you will go, etc.
What's the contraction of I will?
The contraction of I will is I'll.
What's the contraction of you will?
The contraction of you will is you'll.
What are the contractions of he will, she will, etc.?
The contractions of he will, she will, etc. are he'll, she'll, etc.
In 3 months' time. What's the opposite of 3 months ago?
The opposite of 3 months ago is in 3 months' time.
Will I be here next week?
Yes, you'll be here next week.
What time will I leave the classroom today?
You'll leave the classroom at 2:20 today.
Will you go home after the lesson?
Yes, I'll go home after the lesson.
Where will you be in 6 months' time?
I'll be in Japan in 6 months' time.
Will he be here next lesson?
Yes, he'll be here next lesson.
Will it rain next year?
Yes, it'll rain next year.
Will we be here in 3 weeks' time?
Yes, we'll be here in 3 weeks' time.
Will they speak English during the next lesson?
Yes, they'll speak English during the next lesson.
Won't. Stay. What's the contraction of I will not?
The contraction of I will not is I won't.
What's the contraction of you will not?
The contraction of you will not is you won't.
What are the contractions of he will not, she will not, etc.?
The contractions of he will not, she will not, etc. are he won't, she won't, etc.
Will I go home in 2 minutes' time?
No, you won't go home in 2 minutes' time. You'll stay here.
Will you be here in 100 years' time?
No, I won't be here in 100 years' time.
Will he stay here after the lesson?
No, he won't stay here after the lesson. He'll go home.
Will we live for 1,000 years?
No, we won't live for 1,000 years.
Will they agree to give you all the money they have in their pockets if you ask them?
No, they won't agree to give me all the money they have in their pockets if I ask them.
Shall. Suggestion. When do we use shall instead of will?
We use shall when we are making a suggestion with the pronoun I or we.
Give me some examples, please.
Shall I open the window? Shall we go to the cinema?
Can we use shall to ask for a suggestion?
Yes, we can use shall to ask for a suggestion.
Give me some examples, please.
What shall I do? Where shall we go?
Public. In public. Public holiday. Is this building open to the public?
No, this building isn't open to the public.
How many public holidays are there in your country each year?
There are 8 public holidays in my country each year.
Do you like speaking in public?
Yes, I like speaking in public.
Show. Show me your book, please. What are you doing?
I'm showing you my book.
Can you show me the way to the station from here?
Yes, I can show you the way to the station from here.
Kill. Tiger. Do tigers kill other animals for food?
Yes, tigers kill other animals for food.
Do you like films in which lots of people get killed?
No, I don't like films in which lots of people get killed.
Lesson 47. Queen. Head. Are there many countries in the world which have a queen as the head of the government?
No, there aren't many countries in the world which have a queen as the head of the government.
Blood. What colour's blood?
Blood's red.
Offer. Company. In company. Chocolate. Chocolates. When you're eating chocolates in company, do you offer them round?
Yes, when I'm eating chocolates in company, I offer them round.
If I offer you £1 million, will you take it?
Yes, if you offer me £1 million, I'll take it.
Life. Death. In the past. What's the opposite of life?
The opposite of life is death.
Do you think life is more pleasant for children or adults?
I think life is more pleasant for children.
Do you think life is harder these days than it was in the past?
No, I don't think life is harder these days than it was in the past. I think it's easier.
In your country, what colour do you use for death?
In my country, we use black for death.
Is death a pleasant subject to speak about?
No, death isn't a pleasant subject to speak about.
Suggest. Exercise. What do doctors suggest doing for a healthy life?
Doctors suggest eating healthy food and getting lots of fresh air and exercise for a healthy life.
Where do you suggest she goes for her holiday next year?
I suggest she goes to Portugal for her holiday next year.
Tomorrow I'll buy a new shirt. What colour do you suggest I buy?
I suggest you buy a red shirt.
If he wants to see a film tonight, which film do you suggest he sees?
I suggest he sees Casablanca.
What do you suggest I do this weekend?
I suggest you go to the pub this weekend.
Tonight. What time will you go to bed tonight?
I'll go to bed at 10 o'clock tonight.
What will you do before going to bed tonight?
I'll watch TV, read, go to the cinema, etc. before going to bed tonight.
Tired. Tired of. Are you tired at the moment?
No, I'm not tired at the moment.
What do you do when you feel tired?
When I feel tired, I go to bed.
Are you tired of studying?
No, I'm not tired of studying.
Turn. Turn over. What am I doing?
You're turning round.
If you turn round, what will you see?
If I turn round, I'll see a picture, etc.
Can you turn completely round without standing up?
No, I can't turn completely round without standing up.
What am I doing?
You're turning over a page in your book.
Got. What's the past of get?
The past of get is got.
Where did you get your shoes?
I got my shoes from a shoe shop.
What time did you get here today?
I got here at 9 o'clock today.
Did you get to school early today?
Yes, I got to school early today.
Until. Till. Will you be in this room until 10 o'clock this evening?
No, I won't be in this room until 10 o'clock this evening.
Do you want to live until you're 100 years old?
Yes, I want to live until I'm 100 years old.
Are supermarkets sometimes open till late at night?
Yes, supermarkets are sometimes open till late at night.
Again. Too many. Will you come here again next week?
Yes, I'll come here again next week.
Will I ask you the same questions again next lesson as I am asking you now?
Yes, you'll ask us the same questions again next lesson as you're asking us now.
If we make too many mistakes in our dictations, do you think it's better to do them again?
Yes, if we make too many mistakes in our dictations, I think it's better to do them again.
Duration. What's the duration of a lesson in this school?
The duration of a lesson in this school is 50 minutes.
What's the duration of a game of football?
The duration of a game of football is 90 minutes.
There will be. There'll be. Will there be anything on TV tonight?
Yes, there'll be something on TV tonight.
Will there be any pictures hanging on these walls next lesson?
Yes, there'll be some pictures hanging on these walls next lesson.
Will there be a chair on the table next lesson?
No, there won't be a chair on the table next lesson.
Will there be anybody sitting on the floor next lesson?
No, there won't be anybody sitting on the floor next lesson.
Lesson 48. Newspaper. Magazine. popular. Which newspaper do you read?
I read the Times.
Which is one of the most popular newspapers in this country?
The Guardian is one of the most popular newspapers in this country.
Do you often read magazines?
Yes, I often read magazines.
Sold. What's the past of sell?
The past of sell is sold.
Which shop sold you your shoes?
A shoe shop sold me my shoes.
Coal. What do we use to make a fire?
We use wood, paper, coal, etc. to make a fire.
What colour's coal?
Coal's black.
Decide. Menu. In a restaurant, what do we look at to decide what we want to eat?
In a restaurant, we look at a menu to decide what we want to eat.
Did you decide to study English, or did somebody in your family decide for you?
I decided to study English. Nobody in my family decided for me.
Explain. Explain the difference between the present continuous and the present simple, please.
The difference between the present continuous and the present simple is that we use the present continuous for an action we are doing now, whereas we use the present simple for an action we do generally.
What's he doing?
He is explaining the difference between the present continuous and the present simple.
Heaven, hell. Which place in the world do you think is most like heaven?
I think London is most like heaven.
What's the opposite of heaven?
The opposite of heaven is hell.
Book. Is it a good idea to book a table before going to a very popular restaurant?
Yes, it's a good idea to book a table before going to a very popular restaurant.
Try. Try hard. Possible. Impossible. Do you always try hard to answer the questions I ask you?
Yes, I always try hard to answer the questions you ask me.
Are you always willing to try anything new?
Yes, I'm always willing to try anything new.
Do some people sometimes try to do the impossible?
Yes, some people sometimes try to do the impossible.
Quiet. Noisy. Are cities quiet places to live in?
No, cities aren't quiet places to live in. They're noisy places.
Is village life noisy?
No, village life isn't noisy, it's quiet.
Which do you think's the noisiest street in this town?
I think Oxford Street's the noisiest street in this town.
Are motorbikes quieter than bicycles?
No. Motorbikes aren't quieter than bicycles, they're noisier than bicycles.
Sorry. Pleased. I'm sorry. Are you sorry when the winter ends?
No, I'm not sorry when the winter ends. I'm pleased.
Will you be sorry if it's a sunny day tomorrow?
No, I won't be sorry if it's a sunny day tomorrow. I'll be pleased.
What do we say to people when we do something wrong?
We say, I'm sorry to people when we do something wrong.
Had. What's the past of have?
The past of have is had.
What did I have in my hand last lesson?
You had a pen in your hand last lesson.
What did you have for your breakfast this morning?
I had some coffee, some bread, etc. for my breakfast this morning.
What did she have for her breakfast this morning?
She had some coffee, some bread, etc. for her breakfast this morning.
Did we have any shoes on our feet yesterday?
Yes, we had some shoes on our feet yesterday.
Did they have any money in their pockets last lesson?
Yes, they had some money in their pockets last lesson.
Could. Baby. What's the past of can?
The past of can is could.
Could you speak English 15 years ago?
No, I couldn't speak English 15 years ago.
Could you write your name when you were a baby of 6 months old?
No, I couldn't write my name when I was a baby of 6 months old.
Could you read when you were a little baby?
No, I couldn't read when I was a little baby.
Perhaps, maybe, a friend of yours. Do you think maybe it'll rain later?
Yes, I think maybe it'll rain later.
Do you think perhaps you'll meet a friend of yours on your way home after the lesson?
Yes, I think perhaps I'll meet a friend of mine on my way home after the lesson.
Do you think maybe you'll go to the cinema next month?
No, I don't think I'll go to the cinema next month.
Sweet. Do you like sweet food?
Yes, I like sweet food.
Did you eat a lot of sweets when you were a child?
No, I didn't eat a lot of sweets when I was a child.
Lesson 49. Spoken. Written. Do we generally use contractions in spoken or written English?
We generally use contractions in spoken English.
Do you think it's easier to understand written English or spoken English?
I think it's easier to understand spoken English.
Book will. Book'll. Tomorrow will. Tomorrow'll. Light will. Light'll. Mr. Smith will. Mr. Smith'll. Who will. Who'll. What will. What'll. What's the contraction of book will?
The contraction of book will is book'll.
Tomorrow will.
Tomorrow'll.
The light will.
The light'll.
The door will.
The door'll.
Who will.
Who'll.
What will.
What'll.
Do we always use contractions in English?
No, we don't always use contractions in English.
When don't we use contractions?
We don't use contractions when they are difficult to pronounce.
Do you think tomorrow will be a cloudy day?
Yes, I think tomorrow will be a cloudy day.
Will that picture be hanging on the wall next lesson?
Yes, that picture will be hanging on the wall next lesson.
Will the door be the same colour next week as it is this week?
Yes, the door will be the same colour next week as it is this week.
Will Mr. Brown be here next lesson?
Yes, Mr. Brown will be here next lesson.
Communicate. Easily. Do you prefer to communicate with your friends by phoning or texting?
I prefer to communicate with my friends by phoning.
Do you think it's easier to communicate in spoken or written English?
I think it's easier to communicate in spoken English.
Can you communicate very complicated ideas easily in English?
No, I can't communicate very complicated ideas easily in English.
Hadn't. What's the negative of had?
The negative of had is hadn't.
Different forms of have. Do you have a pen? Have you got a pen? Did you have a pen? Had you got a pen? What are the common ways of asking a question with the verb to have?
The common ways of asking a question with the verb to have are: do you have a pen? And have you got a pen?
What are the common ways for the past tense?
The common ways for the past tense are: did you have a pen? And had you got a pen?
Which is the most common way of asking a question with the verb have in the past?
The most common way of asking a question with the verb have in the past is: did you have?
Did you have your book with you last lesson?
Yes, I had my book with me last lesson.
Did I have a hat on my head last lesson?
No, you didn't have a hat on your head last lesson.
Had I got any money in my hand last lesson?
No, you hadn't got any money in your hand last lesson.
Did I have my feet on the table last lesson?
No, you didn't have your feet on the table last lesson.
Practice. Practice. Sport. Spell. Did you practice your English after you left school yesterday?
Yes, I practiced my English after I left school yesterday.
Is it easier to become good at a sport if you get lots of practice?
Yes, it's easier to become good at a sport if you get lots of practice.
What's the difference between the noun practice and the verb practice?
The difference between the noun practice and the verb practice is that we spell the noun with a C and we spell the verb with an S.
Would like. What's a polite way of communicating that you want something?
A polite way of communicating that you want something is to say, I would like.
Give me an example, please.
I would like a cup of tea. I would like to watch that TV program.
What can we say when we offer something to somebody?
When we offer something to somebody, we can say, would you like?
Give me an example, please.
Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like to go to the cinema?
Visit. Australia. Can we learn a lot by visiting different countries?
Yes, we can learn a lot by visiting different countries.
Did you visit any new places last month?
Yes, I visited some new places last month.
Would you like to visit Australia in the future?
Yes, I would like to visit Australia in the future.
Use, use. What's the difference between use and use?
The difference between use and use is that use is the verb, whereas use is the noun.
What's the use of a pen?
The use of a pen is for writing.
What's the use in studying languages?
The use in studying languages is to make it possible for us to speak to people from other countries.
Lesson 50. Therefore. Give me an example of the word therefore, please.
I want to learn English well. Therefore, I must study.
Sound. Traffic. Silent. Can you hear the sound of my pen on the table?
Yes, I can hear the sound of your pen on the table.
Can you hear the sound of traffic at the moment?
No, I can't hear the sound of traffic at the moment.
Do you think the English language sounds pleasant?
Yes, I think the English language sounds pleasant.
Do I sound angry at the moment?
No, you don't sound angry at the moment.
Is your house completely silent at night, or can you hear street noise?
My house is completely silent at night.
The, an, the. What's the difference between and an?
The difference between and an is that we use before a consonant sound, whereas we use an before a vowel sound.
Give me an example of each, please.
A book. An apple.
Give me an example of the.
The chair is red.
Give me an example of the.
The apple is red.
Why do we say the use and not the use?
We say the use and not the use because the word use starts with a consonant sound.
Is it right to say a hour or an hour?
It's right to say an hour.
Why?
Because the letter H in the word hour is silent.
Succeed. Fail. Examination. Exam. Take an examination. Pass. Did you fail to answer the last question?
No, I didn't fail to answer the last question. I succeeded in answering the last question.
If you try hard, do you think you'll succeed in learning English well?
Yes, if I try hard, I think I'll succeed in learning English well.
What's the opposite of to fail an exam?
The opposite of to fail an exam is to pass an exam.
Do you think you'll pass the stage exam at the end of this book?
Yes, I think I'll pass the stage exam at the end of this book.
If you fail an examination, do you always take it again?
No, if I fail an examination, I don't always take it again.
Do people generally succeed in getting what they want if they try hard enough?
Yes, people generally succeed in getting what they want if they try hard enough.
Have to equals must. What can we say instead of I must study?
Instead of I must study, we can say I have to study.
Do you have to eat if you want to live?
Yes, I have to eat if I want to live.
Did you have to get up early yesterday morning?
Yes, I had to get up early yesterday morning.
Will you have to wait if you arrive too early for the next lesson?
Yes, I'll have to wait if I arrive too early for the next lesson.
Which is it right to say? You mustn't smoke in this building, or you don't have to smoke in this building?
It's right to say you mustn't smoke in this building.
Which is it right to say? I mustn't get up early on Saturday, or I don't have to get up early on Saturday.
It's right to say I don't have to get up early on Saturday.
Must you study if you want to learn English?
Yes, I must study if I want to learn English.
Must you study 10 hours a day if you want to learn English?
No, I don't have to study 10 hours a day if I want to learn English.
Lesson 51. Worker, beginner, sleeper, writer, speaker. How do we sometimes form a noun from a verb?
We sometimes form a noun from a verb by adding the letters ER to the verb.
Give me some examples, please.
Eat, eater. Walk, walker. Speak, speaker.
Are you a hard worker?
Yes, I'm a hard worker.
Are you a complete beginner in English?
No, I'm not a complete beginner in English. I began a few months ago.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Yes, I'm a heavy sleeper.
Who's your favourite writer?
My favourite writer is Jane Austen.
Hope. Do you hope you'll live a very long time?
Yes, I hope I'll live a very long time.
Do you think it's important to be positive about life and full of hope for the future?
Yes, I think it's important to be positive about life and full of hope for the future.
Do you hope the weather will be sunny tomorrow?
Yes, I hope the weather will be sunny tomorrow.
Believe. Planet. Do you believe everything people tell you?
No, I don't believe everything people tell me. Some things I believe and some things I disbelieve.
Do you believe there is life on other planets?
Yes, I believe there is life on other planets.
Do you believe it'll be possible in the future for people to live until they're 200 years old?
No, I don't believe it'll be possible in the future for people to live until they're 200 years old.
Do the shopping. Go shopping. List. What's the difference between to do the shopping and to go shopping?
The difference between to do the shopping and to go shopping is that to do the shopping means to buy the things that are necessary for the house, such as food, etc., whereas to go shopping means to visit shops generally.
When you do the shopping, do you make a list before going to the supermarket?
Yes, when I do the shopping, I make a list before going to the supermarket.
Do you ever go shopping and come home with nothing?
Yes, I sometimes go shopping and come home with nothing.
Smile. Do people generally smile when they're unhappy?
No, people don't generally smile when they're unhappy.
Does good news put a smile on your face?
Yes, good news puts a smile on my face.
Tax. Do you have to pay a tax to the government if you buy a foreign car?
Yes, I have to pay a tax to the government if I buy a foreign car.
The three forms of a verb. Past participle. Present. Past. Past participle. Walk. Walked. Walked. Cut. 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 Sit. Sat. Sat. See. Saw. Seen. Present. I see him every week. Past. I saw him last week. Past participle. I have seen him this week. What are the three forms of an English verb?
The three forms of an English verb are the present, the past, and the past participle.
Give me an example, please.
See, saw, seen. I see him every week. I saw him last week. I have seen him this week.
What are the three forms of kill?
The three forms of kill are kill, killed, killed.
What are the three forms of put?
The three forms of put are put, put, put.
What are the three forms of come?
The three forms of come are come, came, come.
What are the three forms of give?
The three forms of give are give, gave, given. Lesson 52. Cat, dog, result, lucky. Which do you prefer, cats or dogs?
I prefer dogs to cats.
What is often the result of putting a cat and a dog together?
The result of putting a cat and a dog together is often a lot of noise.
Do people in your country think it's lucky to see a black cat?
No, people in my country don't think it's lucky to see a black cat. They think it's unlucky.
Destroy. Document. Do you ever destroy documents that you receive from your bank?
Yes, I sometimes destroy documents that I receive from my bank.
Can a fire destroy a building?
Yes, a fire can destroy a building.
Been. Scotland. What's the past participle of the verb to be?
The past participle of the verb to be is been.
Have you been to the cinema this week?
No, I haven't been to the cinema this week.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
Yes, I've been to Scotland.
Have you been to see the film Casablanca?
Yes, I've been to see the film Casablanca.
Crime. Guilty. Innocent. Against the law. What's a crime?
A crime is an action which is against the law.
If I take something from a shop without paying, am I guilty of a crime?
Yes, if you take something from a shop without paying, you're guilty of a crime.
What's the opposite of guilty?
The opposite of guilty is innocent.
Do you always feel guilty when you do something wrong?
Yes, I always feel guilty when I do something wrong.
Is there very much crime in the town where you live?
Yes, there's a lot of crime in the town where I live.
Present perfect. Have plus past participle. Third form. I have eaten. Experience. Do we use the present perfect to talk about our experiences?
Yes, we use the present perfect to talk about our experiences.
Have you eaten Spanish food?
Yes, I have eaten Spanish food.
Have you visited Paris?
Yes, I have visited Paris.
Have you ever worked on a farm?
Yes, I have worked on a farm.
4. Up to now. Do we also use the present perfect to talk about the duration of an action up to now?
Yes, we also use the present perfect to talk about the duration of an action up to now.
How long have you lived in this city?
I have lived in this city for 30 years.
Have you studied English for more than 6 months?
Yes, I have studied English for more than 6 months.
Do we also use the present perfect to talk about the result now of a past action?
Yes, we also use the present perfect to talk about the result now of a past action.
Have you eaten too much today?
No, I haven't eaten too much today.
Has everybody come to the lesson today?
No, not everybody has come to the lesson today.
too many, too much, excessive. What do too many and too much mean?
Too many and too much mean an excessive number or quantity, and therefore not a good thing.
Do children feel ill if they eat too many sweets?
Yes, children feel ill if they eat too many sweets.
Do you agree there are too many people in the world with too little food to eat?
Yes, I agree there are too many people in the world with too little food to eat.
Are you too short to touch the ceiling?
Yes, I'm too short to touch the ceiling.
Do you think a millionaire has too much money?
No, I don't think a millionaire has too much money.
If people eat too much, do they feel bad?
Yes, if people eat too much, they feel bad.
If you work too much, do you feel tired all the time?
Yes, if I work too much, I feel tired all the time.
Lesson 53. Age, marry, get married. At what age did you begin school?
I began school at the age of 4.
Which do you think is the best age for a person to get married?
I think the best age for a person to get married is about 28.
Which do you think was the best age in history to live in?
I think the 20th century was the best age in history to live in.
Do people sometimes marry too young?
Yes, people sometimes marry too young.
Average. How much does the average meal cost in the average restaurant in the place where you live?
The average meal costs about £25 in the average restaurant in the place where I live.
What's the average number of hours a day that people work in this country?
The average number of hours a day that people work in this country is about 8 hours.
About how many floors has the average building in this street got?
The average building in this street's got about 8 floors.
Thick. Thin. Is this piece of paper thick?
No, that piece of paper isn't thick, it's thin.
Is your book thinner than the glass in the window?
No, my book isn't thinner than the glass in the window, it's thicker.
Big. Little. What words can we use instead of large and small?
We can use the words big and little instead of the words large and small.
Switzerland. Do we generally say littler and littlest?
No, we don't generally say littler and littlest.
What do we use instead?
We use smaller and smallest instead.
Why?
Because they're easier to pronounce.
Is Switzerland a bigger country than India?
No, Switzerland isn't a bigger country than India, it's a smaller country than India.
Is this a little room we're in?
Yes, this is a little room we're in.
Purse, wallet, usually. What's the difference between a purse and a wallet?
The difference between a purse and a wallet is that women generally have purses and men generally have wallets.
What does a man carry in his wallet?
A man carries his cash and cards in his wallet.
Lose. Find. Policeman. Do you ever lose your money?
Yes, I sometimes lose my money.
If you lose your way in a large city, what do you do?
If I lose my way in a large city, I ask a policeman.
Which do you think it's worse to lose, your keys or your purse?
I think it's worse to lose my purse.
What's the opposite of the verb to lose?
The opposite of the verb to lose is to find.
If you find something in the street, what do you do with it?
If I find something in the street, I give it to a policeman.
How do you feel if you lose something, then find it again?
I feel happy if I lose something and then find it again.
Find plus somebody, something plus adjective. Do you find English easy to learn?
Yes, I find English easy to learn.
Do you find maps difficult to read?
Yes, I find maps difficult to read.
To be angry. Make plus somebody, something plus adjective. Do you get angry very easily?
Yes, I get angry very easily.
What kind of things make you angry?
The kind of things that make me angry are when things go wrong, when people are making too much noise, etc.
What do you do when you're angry?
When I'm angry, I go for a walk, I say nothing, etc.
Do you feel hungry at the moment?
Yes, I feel hungry at the moment.
What do you do when you feel hungry?
I eat when I feel hungry.
Fish. Swim. Swimmer. Swimming pool. Which do you prefer, fish or meat?
I prefer fish.
Can you swim?
Yes, I can swim.
What does it mean to swim like a fish?
To swim like a fish means to be a strong swimmer.
Do you prefer swimming in the sea or in a swimming pool?
I prefer swimming in the sea.
What do we call the two ends of a swimming pool?
We call the two ends of a swimming pool the shallow end and the deep end.
Lesson 54. Dream. Dreamt. Dreamt. Nightmare. Do you dream very much at night?
Yes, I dream a lot at night.
What do we call a bad dream?
We call a bad dream a nightmare.
What are the three forms of dream?
The three forms of dream are dream, dreamt, dreamt.
What did you dream about last night?
I dreamt about flying last night.
Garden. Have you got a garden at home?
No, I haven't got a garden at home.
Refuse. Do you ever refuse to help other people?
Yes, I sometimes refuse to help other people.
Separate. Do you write your dictations in a separate book from your other books?
Yes, I write my dictations in a separate book from my other books.
Do you live in a separate house from your parents?
Yes, I live in a separate house from my parents.
Lovely. Give me an example of the word lovely, please.
I had a lovely holiday last year. She is a lovely person. The weather's lovely today.
Keep. Continue. Continue. Keep plus ing. Will you keep studying English until you die?
No, I won't keep studying English until I die.
Do you agree it's very bad for the health to keep eating after our stomachs are completely full?
Yes, I agree. It's very bad for the health to keep eating after our stomachs are completely full.
Have in a place. Do you keep your money in your pocket or do you use a purse or wallet?
I keep my money in my pocket.
Not give away. Do you keep books after you've read them?
Yes, I keep books after I've read them.
Stay. What's the best way to keep warm on a cold day?
The best way to keep warm on a cold day is to wear a thick coat.
1. You, we, they, mean. In general. Necessarily. In particular. Ticket. What do we sometimes mean when we use the words one, you, we and they?
When we use the words one, you, we and they, we sometimes mean people in general.
In the sentence, if you want to go to the cinema, you have to buy a ticket, what does the word you mean?
In the sentence, if you want to go to the cinema, you have to buy a ticket, the word you doesn't necessarily mean me in particular, but people in general.
Which do we generally use the most? One, you or we?
We generally use you the most.
What must you do if you want to speak a language well?
You must study a lot and repeat, repeat and repeat if you want to speak a language well.
What do you have to do if you want to stay healthy?
If you want to stay healthy, you have to eat healthy food, sleep well, and do exercise.
What must you do if you want to remember something well?
You must repeat often if you want to remember something well.
Where can we buy a drink when we're thirsty?
We can buy a drink from a bar when we're thirsty.
Which country must we go to if we want to hear people speaking Greek?
We must go to Greece if we want to hear people speaking Greek.
What does one do when one is hungry?
One eats when one is hungry.
Do they sell drinks at most cinemas?
Yes, they sell drinks at most cinemas.
Lesson 55. Present perfect. Before, up to now. He has lived here for 2 months. Past simple. Specific past time. He came here 2 months ago. What's the difference between the present perfect and the past simple?
The difference between the present perfect and the past simple is that we use the present perfect when we are thinking about time before and up to now, whereas we use the past simple when we are thinking about a specific past time.
Give me an example of each, please.
I have been here for 20 minutes. I arrived here 20 minutes ago.
Has the spring ended?
Yes, the spring has ended.
When did it end?
It ended on the 22nd of June.
How long have you studied at this school?
I've studied at this school for 2 months.
When did you start your lessons at this school?
I started my lessons at this school 2 months ago.
Have you been to the cinema this year?
Yes, I've been to the cinema this year.
When was the last time you went to the cinema?
The last time I went to the cinema was last week.
Have you written any dictations this week?
Yes, I've written some dictations this week.
Did you write a dictation yesterday?
Yes, I wrote a dictation yesterday.
Wild. Are horses wild animals?
Some horses are wild animals.
Branch. What do we call the arms of a tree?
We call the arms of a tree branches.
Does your bank have a branch near here?
Yes, my bank has a branch near here.
Bridge. Are there any bridges over the river in Paris?
Yes, there are some bridges over the river in Paris.
Egg. About how many eggs do you eat a week?
I eat about 2 eggs a week.
Push. Pull. What am I doing?
You're pushing the table.
What am I doing?
You're pulling the table.
Do you push this door to go out of the classroom?
No, I don't push that door to go out of the classroom. I pull it.
Is this table too heavy for you to pull into the next room?
No, that table isn't too heavy for me to pull into the next room.
Interest. Bore. What subject interests you the most?
Science interests me the most.
What subject bores you the most?
Geography bores me the most.
Interesting. Interested. Boring. Bored. Do you think football's an interesting sport?
No, I don't think football's an interesting sport. I think it's a boring sport.
Are you interested in the history of your country?
Yes, I'm interested in the history of my country.
Do you get bored if you have nothing to do?
Yes, I get bored if I have nothing to do.
Between. Among. Science. What's the difference between and among?
The difference between and among is that we generally use between for 2 people or things, whereas we use among for more than 2 people or things.
Give me an example of each, please.
I'm sitting between the teacher and the window. I'm sitting among the other students.
Is there anybody sitting between you and me?
No, there isn't anybody sitting between you and me.
Among all the subjects you studied at school, which did you think was the most boring?
Among all the subjects I studied at school, I thought geography was the most boring.
Among all the places you've ever been to, which do you think is the ugliest?
Among all the places I've ever been to, I think Peckham is the ugliest.
Among all the things in this room, are any yours?
Yes, among all the things in this room, some are mine.
Lesson 56. To be going to. Intention. Soon. Happen. Tell me one use of to be going to.
One use of to be going to is to say what we think will happen because of something we know now.
What am I going to do?
You're going to open the book. You're going to sit down, etc.
Do you think it's going to rain soon?
Yes, I think it's going to rain soon.
Tell me another use of to be going to.
Another use of to be going to is to speak about our future intentions.
What are you going to do after the lesson?
I'm going to go to work, go home, have lunch, etc. after the lesson.
Are you going to watch television this evening?
No, I'm not going to watch television this evening.
What are you going to have for your dinner this evening?
I'm going to have some rice and vegetables for my dinner this evening.
Are you going to come here again tomorrow?
Yes, I'm going to come here again tomorrow.
Enjoy. Museum. What kind of things do you enjoy doing most of all?
The kind of things I enjoy doing most of all are watching television, going to the cinema, etc.
Do you always enjoy your weekends?
No, I don't always enjoy my weekends.
Do you enjoy going to museums?
Yes, I enjoy going to museums.
Do young children enjoy bedtime stories?
Yes, young children enjoy bedtime stories.
Hole? Keyhole. What's this?
It's a hole.
What kind of hole do we find in a door?
We find a keyhole in a door.
Have you got a hole in your pocket?
No, I haven't got a hole in my pocket.
Stupid. Intelligent. Clever. Is it stupid to believe everything people tell you?
Yes, it's stupid to believe everything people tell you.
Which do you think are more intelligent, cats or dogs?
I think dogs are more intelligent than cats.
What's another word for intelligent?
Another word for intelligent is clever.
Against. What am I doing?
You're pushing against the table.
Who does this country play football against?
This country plays football against many countries.
Is the chair against the wall?
No, the chair isn't against the wall, it's near the wall.
Is the chair against the wall now?
Yes, the chair's against the wall now.
Been. Gone. Return. Visit. What's the past participle of the verb to go?
The past participle of the verb to go is gone.
What are the three forms of go?
The three forms of go are go, went, gone.
What's the difference between these two sentences? Mr. Brown has been to Scotland and Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland.
The difference between those two sentences is that the first sentence means that Mr. Brown has visited Scotland in his life, but he is not there now, whereas the second sentence means he is in Scotland. He is not here now.
Why can I say Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland, but not I have gone to Scotland?
I can say Mr. Brown has gone to Scotland, but not I have gone to Scotland, because I have gone to Scotland means I am not here now, which is impossible.
Bird. Fly. Aeroplane. Plane. Do you know anybody who keeps birds at home?
Yes, I know somebody who keeps birds at home.
When people go on holiday, do they generally prefer to fly or go by train?
When people go on holiday, they generally prefer to fly.
Can a bird fly quicker than a plane?
No, a bird can't fly quicker than a plane. It flies slower than a plane.
Can a chicken fly?
Yes, a chicken can fly, but not very far.
Have you ever dreamt you could fly?
Yes, I've sometimes dreamt I could fly.
Lesson 57. Fat. Thin. What's the difference between thick and fat?
The difference between thick and fat is that we use thick for things and fat for people and animals.
Are you fatter than your mother?
No, I'm not fatter than my mother. I'm thinner than she is.
Who's the thinnest person in your family?
I am the thinnest person in my family.
Do people generally become thinner as they become older?
No, people don't generally become thinner as they become older. They become fatter.
Swam. What's the past of the verb to swim?
The past of the verb to swim is swam.
Did you swim last summer?
Yes, I swam last summer.
Lost. What is the past simple and the past participle of the verb to lose?
The past simple and the past participle of the verb to lose is lost.
Have you ever lost your way in a large city?
Yes, I've sometimes lost my way in a large city.
Have you ever lost anything worth a lot of money?
No, I've never lost anything worth a lot of money.
Each other. One another. What's the difference between each other and one another?
The difference between each other and one another is that we generally use each other for two people or things, and one another for more than two people or things.
Give me an example, please.
You and I are speaking to each other. The students speak to one another after the lesson.
Do we look at each other during the lesson?
Yes, we look at each other during the lesson.
Do we shake hands with each other at the beginning of the lesson?
No, we don't shake hands with each other at the beginning of the lesson.
Do your country and England play football against each other?
Yes, my country and England play football against each other.
Do Italy, Germany, Russia and England play football against one another?
Yes, Italy, Germany, Russia and England play football against one another.
Do the countries of Europe do business with one another?
Yes, the countries of Europe do business with one another.
Which language do the students speak to one another in after the lesson?
The students speak to one another in their language after the lesson.
To be able. Am able. Was able. Been able. What's the past of can?
The past of can is could.
What's the future of can?
Can has no future. Therefore, we use the verb to be able and say, I will be able.
What's the infinitive of can?
Can has no infinitive. Therefore, we use to be able.
What are the three forms of be able?
The three forms of be able are am able, was able, been able.
Were you able to speak English a few years ago?
Yes, I was able to speak English a few years ago.
Are you able to reach that book without standing up?
No, I'm not able to reach that book without standing up.
Will you be able to speak English well if you study a lot?
Yes, I'll be able to speak English well if I study a lot.
Have you been able to answer all the questions I have asked you without too much difficulty?
No, I haven't been able to answer all the questions you've asked me without too much difficulty. Some I have, and some I haven't.
Factory. Tell me the names of some things that we make in factories.
The names of some things that we make in factories are cars, pens, etc.
Do you think work in a factory can be pleasant?
Yes, I think work in a factory can be pleasant.
Ordinary. Do soldiers wear ordinary clothes?
No, soldiers don't wear ordinary clothes. They wear uniforms.
Paint. Can you paint?
Yes, I can paint.
Hotel. Stay. How much does it cost to stay in an ordinary hotel for one night in this town?
It costs about £50 to stay in an ordinary hotel for one night in this town.
Lesson 58. Song. Can you understand all the words when you listen to a song in English?
No, I can't understand all the words when I listen to a song in English.
Fun. Funny. What's the difference between the words fun and funny?
The difference between the words fun and funny is that if something is fun, we enjoy it, whereas if something is funny, it makes us laugh.
Do you sometimes go shopping with your friends at the weekend for fun?
Yes, I sometimes go shopping with my friends at the weekend for fun.
What's the funniest film you've ever seen?
Annie Hall is the funniest film I've ever seen.
The three forms of some important verbs. Have, had, had. Am able, was able, been able. Begin, began, begun. Know, knew, known. Swim, swam, swum. Take, took, taken. Shake, shook, shaken. Write, wrote, written. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Break, broke, broken. Eat, ate, eaten. Have you had your lunch today?
Yes, I've had my lunch today.
Have you always been able to speak English as well as you speak it now?
No, I haven't always been able to speak English as well as I speak it now.
Has the spring begun?
No, the spring hasn't begun.
Have you ever known anybody who could speak more than 5 languages?
Yes, I've known somebody who could speak more than 5 languages.
What's the furthest you've ever swum?
The furthest I've ever swum is 500 metres.
Simply. Is it possible to learn English simply by listening to English songs?
No, it isn't possible to learn English simply by listening to English songs.
By mistake. Have you ever taken things that weren't yours by mistake?
Yes, I've sometimes taken things that weren't mine by mistake.
Have you shaken anybody's hand today?
Yes, I've shaken somebody's hand today.
Have you written anything this lesson?
Yes, I've written something this lesson.
If. Whether. Doubt. What does the word weather mean and when do we generally use it?
The word whether means the same as if, and we generally use it when we express a doubt.
Give me an example, please.
I don't know whether he can speak English or not.
Do you know whether I have any money in my pocket?
No, I don't know whether you have any money in your pocket.
Do you have any idea whether they speak German or not?
No, I don't have any idea whether they speak German or not.
Can you tell me whether it'll rain tomorrow or not?
No, I can't tell you whether it'll rain tomorrow or not.
What's another use of the word weather?
Another use of the word weather is when 2 possible actions have the same result.
Give me an example, please.
Whether it rains tomorrow or not, I'll go for a walk.
What's the difference between these 2 sentences? I'm going to buy the car if it's cheap, and I'm going to buy the car whether it's cheap or not.
The difference between these 2 sentences is that the first sentence means I'm going to buy the car only if it's cheap, whereas the second sentence means I'm going to buy the car if it's cheap or expensive, but price is not important.
Speed. What is the highest speed a car can go when in town in this country?
The highest speed a car can go when in town in this country is 30 miles an hour.
Surprise. Do you like unpleasant surprises?
No, I don't like unpleasant surprises.
Does it surprise you when somebody from another country speaks your language well?
Yes, it surprises me when somebody from another country speaks my language well.
Struggle. Is it a big struggle for you to get up on a cold winter's morning when you feel very tired?
Yes, it's a big struggle for me to get up on a cold winter's morning when I feel very tired.
Do you sometimes struggle to understand people when they speak English quickly?
Yes, I sometimes struggle to understand people when they speak English quickly.
Lesson 59. Surround. What surrounds this building?
Streets and other buildings surround this building.
Sword. When did soldiers stop using swords in battle?
Soldiers stopped using swords in battle more than 100 years ago.
Computer. Internet. Website. Information. Do you think computers make your life easier or more difficult?
I think computers make my life more difficult.
Do you often use the internet for finding information?
Yes, I often use the internet for finding information.
Do you like shopping on the internet?
Yes, I like shopping on the internet.
What are some of the most popular websites in the world?
Some of the most popular websites in the world are eBay, Amazon, Google, etc.
Turn on. Turn off. What am I doing?
You're turning the light on and off.
Do you turn off your computer when you go to bed at night?
Yes, I turn off my computer when I go to bed at night.
Great. Lake. What does the word great mean?
The word great generally means very good, but it can sometimes mean big or important.
Give me an example of the word great meaning very good.
This film is great. I know a great restaurant near here.
Who do you think is your greatest friend?
I think my greatest friend is Amanda.
Tell me the names of some great people in history.
The names of some great people in history are Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, etc.
Who do you think was the greatest man that ever lived?
I think Albert Einstein was the greatest man that ever lived.
Which is the greatest city in your country?
London is the greatest city in my country.
Kept. Promise. Keep a promise. Break a promise. What is the past simple and the past participle of the verb to keep?
The past simple and the past participle of the verb to keep is kept.
Have you ever kept any animals at home?
Yes, I've kept some animals at home.
What's the opposite of to keep a promise?
The opposite of to keep a promise is to break a promise.
Have you always kept your promises?
No, I haven't always kept my promises. Sometimes I've broken them.
Found. What's the past simple and the past participle of find?
The past simple and the past participle of find is found.
Did you find English very difficult when you began studying it?
Yes, I found English very difficult when I began studying it.
Have you ever found anything on the street worth a lot of money?
No, I've never found anything on the street worth a lot of money.
Else. What else do people do in the evening besides watching TV?
People eat, read, go for walks, etc. in the evening besides watching TV.
Do you study anything else besides English?
Yes, I study something else besides English.
What else do you study?
I also study Portuguese.
Does anybody else in your family speak English besides you?
Yes, somebody else in my family speaks English besides me.
Fast. What does the word fast mean?
The word fast means the same as quick or quickly.
Are you a fast writer?
Yes, I'm a fast writer.
Do you walk fast when the weather is very hot?
No, I don't walk fast when the weather is very hot. I walk slowly.
Music, dance, rhythm, sense of rhythm. Do you go dancing very much?
Yes, I go dancing a lot.
Is it easier to dance well if you have a good sense of rhythm?
Yes, it's easier to dance well if you have a good sense of rhythm.
Do you prefer dancing to fast or slow music?
I prefer dancing to fast music.
Just. Done. What are the three forms of do?
The three forms of do are do, did, done.
What does the word just mean?
The word just can mean a short time ago, and it can also mean simply or only.
What have I just done?
You've just closed your book.
Have you just come into the room?
No, I haven't just come into the room.
When somebody makes you angry, do you say something or do you just stay quiet?
When somebody makes me angry, I say something. I don't just stay quiet.
Are there many shops in the place where you live or just a few?
There are many shops in the place where I live.
Real. Have you ever seen a real tiger?
Yes, I've seen a real tiger.
Is James Bond a real person?
No, James Bond isn't a real person.
Lesson 60. Probable, improbable, probably. Is it probable that it will snow next summer?
No, it isn't probable that it will snow next summer. It's very improbable.
Are you probably going to finish all of the stages of the Callan Method?
Yes, I'm probably going to finish all of the stages of the Callan Method.
Possibility, imagine, construction, please, police station, park. First conditional, if plus present plus will do equals real possibility. If I go to the park tomorrow, I will play football. Second conditional, if plus past plus would do equals only imagining. If I went to the park tomorrow, I would play football. When do we use the first conditional?
We use the first conditional to communicate that we think something is a real possibility.
Give me an example, please.
If he sees his friend, he will say hello.
When do we use the second conditional?
We use the second conditional to communicate that we are only imagining something.
Give me an example, please.
If she went to the North Pole, she would feel very cold. If they were stronger, they would be able to lift the table.
If you feel tired tonight, will you go to bed early?
Yes, if I feel tired tonight, I will go to bed early.
If you felt ill tomorrow, would you go out?
No, if I felt ill tomorrow, I wouldn't go out. I would stay at home.
If you study hard, will you learn to speak English well?
Yes, if I study hard, I will learn to speak English well.
If you stopped studying, would your English get better?
No, if I stopped studying, my English wouldn't get better. It would get worse.
If you had £1 million, what would you buy?
If I had £1 million, I would buy a Ferrari.
If you came here next Sunday, would you be able to have a lesson?
No, if I came here next Sunday, I wouldn't be able to have a lesson.
Why not?
Because the school is closed on Sundays.
If you swam in the sea in the middle of winter, would you find the water warm?
No, if I swam in the sea in the middle of winter, I wouldn't find the water warm. I would find it cold.
If you go on holiday next year, where will you go?
If I go on holiday next year, I will go to Portugal.
If you found something in the street worth a lot of money, would you keep it or would you take it to the police station?
If I found something in the street worth a lot of money, I would take it to the police station.
If you sent a letter and forgot to put the address on it, would it arrive?
No, if I sent a letter and forgot to put the address on it, it wouldn't arrive.